Hello everybody. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of my guide to Google Spreadsheets. Today I'll be discussing sorting functions, specifically the two easiest ways for you to sort information in Google Spreadsheets. Before I start, the document that I'm using for this video is available in the description, so if you'd like to copy it and follow along, then I would highly recommend to pause the video now and do so. Now, to get on with the actual lesson, we can first start by asking, what is sorting? Sorting means taking a large amount of information and moving it in some way in order to make it easier to understand. This could, for example, mean categorizing it or arranging it in a more logical fashion. When we speak about arranging information, we can usually think of two different directions that we can sort it in, either A to Z or Z to A. When we think alphabetically, A to Z of course means from A to Z, or from the first letter of the alphabet to the last letter of the alphabet. And Z to A is the opposite of that. You go from last to first. So when we sort letters and numbers, the same titles are used. It's A to Z or Z to A for both of them. But, of course, letters and numbers aren't the same. So you can think of the equivalency as A meaning a smaller number and Z meaning a larger number, which makes sense as A comes earlier in the alphabet and Z comes later in the alphabet. So you're sorting from smallest to largest, or for Z to A, from largest to smallest. To try this out, we can select, say, column D for letters, and then we can click right-click, and there's an option right here, Sort Sheet A to Z. But if you look here, you can notice that the information is already in alphabetical order, so perhaps we could arrange it in reverse alphabetical order, so from Z to A. So if we click this, then you'll notice our letters are in reverse alphabetical order, but the information on the left has also been moved. So that's an issue that we ran into already with our sorting method. It moves around the other information on the spreadsheet. If we try this with numbers, so in theory, if we click Sort Sheet A to Z with numbers, then the smaller numbers will go to the top and larger numbers to the bottom. So if we click A to Z, then that's what happens. But now, once again, the information on the left has been moved, and the titles for the columns have also been moved. And that's, of course, a very large negative. So now we can reverse all the issues that we've caused here by just pressing Ctrl-Z and then Ctrl-Z again, which brings us back to the original state. So, what I'll explain to you now is that basically there's two types of sorting that you can easily do in spreadsheets. The first one is sorting the sheet by a column. When you click Sort Sheet By, which is the default option that you get when you right-click Sort Sheet, right? See? When you click that, it effectively sorts every single piece of information in the spreadsheet, whether you want it to or not. So that's why when we sort this by Z to A, then the stuff on the left also moves, because the spreadsheet assumes that the information in this column is also linked to the information in this column, when in this case it isn't. The other issue is that, of course, the titles of the columns move. We can actually sort the title issue very easily. If we look over top left, we can see that there's a light gray box, and that has very thick gray borders, right? If we click this horizontal border right here, we can actually drag that down to right underneath our title. And what this will do is it effectively protects that title row from being affected by the sorting functions. But of course, we still have the issue of the other information in the sheet being moved when we don't want it to move. So this can be solved by using the other type of sorting, which is sorting by a selection. If we select our entire data set here and then right-click, you'll notice that the Sort Sheet By option is gone now because we're selecting multiple columns. But if you click View More Cell Actions, you can click Sort Range, which will open up another menu. This is why this is a bit more of a complicated option, and when you don't have other information on your sheet, it's often easier to just use the Sort Sheet By option just to save time. So what you can do by sorting by selection is you can firstly specify that it has a header row. This will make it easier to choose what you're sorting by. So then you can choose what you're sorting by, so which column that you're going to sort. We want to sort by category. We want everything that's in the same category to be together, right? That makes sense. So then if we click A to Z, then we can assume that there's going to be the 3 rows which are in category 0, they're going to be all together here, and then the 3 rows that are in category 1 to be all together here. The interesting thing about this method of sorting is you can effectively stack sorts. If you click add another sort column, you can add another metric to sort by. So then if we say letters and then from Z to A, for example, we now can assume that everything's going to be first sorted into the right category, and then within the category itself also sorted from Z to A. So if we try this out, we can see that it's exactly that which happens. Everything in category 0 is together. The letters are going in reverse alphabetical order, right? But they're still within the categories. And that's the strength of sorting by selection. So once again, to summarize, you can use sort sheet by when firstly you've protected the title row and you've only got one data set on one sheet and you don't want to use multiple sorts at the same time. I'll be doing the fruit problem in class with you, and these 2 homework tests are for your own practice in your own time, if you'd like. Of course, if you want to, you can also do this practice one by yourself and then come back to the video afterwards to check your answers. So, to start with the problem, firstly, we'll notice that the protect row option is pulled down in order to cover the titles, which is of course important. You want to always make sure that that's done, because then just in case if you sort it the wrong way, you always know at least what's supposed to be where. Now, first thing we want to notice is that the tasks, meaning the individual questions, are in the same rows as the data itself. So we can't use the sort sheet function, we have to use the sort selection function. Now we look at the first question. What fruit and size combination were sold most? So the only thing we know about this is that it doesn't matter which fruit, it doesn't matter which package size, we just want whatever was sold most. So then that means that we can select our information, then click sort range, and then we can sort by unit sold, and we want Z to A, because Z to A will put largest values at the top. Then we click sort, and we can notice that small package of apples was sold most. So we can type that down now as our answer to the question. And then now we have the next question. What size of bananas were sold most? So now what we want to look out for here in this question is it's asking us for 2 specific things and then 1 variable thing, right? The specific things are most sales and bananas. Whereas the variable thing is size. We want to figure out what size. We don't know that yet. So when we get multiple things which we know what they're supposed to be in the question, then we can immediately add that to our sort. So if we select our data here and then click sort range, we want 2 sort columns, one by fruit and one by unit sold, because we know we want to have most units sold, so that would be Z to A, and then we want bananas, which bananas are B, which is almost the start of the alphabet. We'll say that A to Z makes most sense here. Then if we click sort and go to the top, we'll see that all the bananas are put together. So now, if we look here, we can see that small bananas were sold most. So, moving on. Third question is, why does sorting A to Z on package size put large first? In order to solve this, we need to first think what package size is, what the information is. These are words, and as we know, spreadsheet sorts letters alphabetically. So, if we think S, L, and M, which are 3 options, of these 3, the first one in the alphabet is L, which is for large, and then after that is M, and then after that is S. So it sorts A to Z, meaning alphabetically, And L for large just so happens to come first in the alphabet compared to the other two options, even though it doesn't exactly make sense that large is the first and small is the last, because you'd expect it to be the other way around. So what small packaged fruit has the most sales? Here, if we use the same strategy we used for 2, we know that our given information is small package size and most sales. So if we select our data once again, we right click, view more cell actions, and then click sort range. We'd want another sort column because we have 2 pieces of given information, the package size and the units sold. So because we know that sorting A to Z will lead to large being at the top, and we want small to be at the top because it's what we'll see first, we can sort from Z to A for package size. Then for units sold, we also want Z to A because we want to know what is sold most. And now we know what small packaged fruit has the most sales. It just so happens to be the same answer as to number 1. Small apples had the largest number of units sold. And that's the first problem solved. Now, of course, that took a while, and that's why we have these 2 homework tasks for you to practice this yourself. Let me know in the comments if you do try these homework tasks, how they went for you, and otherwise, have a nice day, and please like and subscribe if you liked the video.